So in the last tutorial, we were talking about how to create a layout object, and as you can see, it's pretty simple to create a div tag and to center it. Just have to remember auto right, auto left. However, you're probably going to want to put some content inside and position that as well. And this is where CSS styles gets a little tricky. So first off, I'm going to redo this particular div because I'm going to put some extra objects inside, like a header and some a navigation object and a content area object and a footer object. And these objects are going to be positioned and sized through CSS styles. Best way to do this is to start over again. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all of this. And I'm going to go up into my style area here and just get rid of all these extra styles that I created earlier. I am going to keep my body styles here and the font color and so forth. Okay, so blank sheet. I have a background color going on here, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create my layout. Now, Dreamweaver has a pretty good interface that I like to use. It's under Insert and Layout Objects, and it's this div tag. So Insert Layout Objects div tag. Now what that does is it brings up this interface where you can actually create the div with the ID and the style at the same time. Kind of helps to think ahead on this one. So for instance, I'm going to start out with my wrapper. I'm going to click New CSS Rule, and then I'm going to go ahead and click OK. This is going to be this document only. Click OK, and this is where I'm going to define my outer wrapper here. So my width will be 800, my height will be 600, and I'm going to position it auto right and auto left. I'm going to click OK. Now, first of all, a couple of things. There's my wrapper div. I wanted to put a background inside the div, and I forgot to do that. Another problem is that my text is invisible. You can see it's there in the code, but it's not there on the design view because the text and the background color are the same color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this div tag. Now, from here on out, all editing is I'm going to do using the style panel, and I want to go into this a little bit more in depth. The CSS style panel has an all tab and a current tab. The all tab shows all styles, and sometimes you might see it like this, where the little triangle's twirled up. So you want to twirl that down. Right now, I don't have too many, but it's very likely you might have hundreds of styles there, and this is one way you can access them. Now, what I like to use, especially in a situation like this where I'm going to edit a specific style, is I go to the Current tab, and the Current tab shows you which particular div you are and that particular style. Great way to get right to that style and edit this. For instance, I may want to change my width to 850, like that. There's all my style attributes. I click 850 and it automatically resizes it. Now if I want to add a lot more stuff, I might just click this little pencil tool where it says Edit Rule, and it brings back my style editor. I'm going to click background here, click background image. And choose the BG. We've done this before. Now with this particular interface, I can actually position my background. Like I might position X 100 pixels over. That means that it's 100 pixels to the right, and Y 100 pixels down. Okay, and you can see what happens. The image is actually 100 pixels below the top of the wrapper. Of course, I could work with this. That could be my header right there, but I want to control it a little bit more. So that may not be what I wanted. So I'm going to go back and edit the rule. Go into my background, And what I really wanted to do was push the picture up, not down. So I'm going to add a value of -100. If I apply that, then you'll see the image actually moves up. So you can position the image itself inside the div tag using your CSS styles. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new div called a header. I want to get rid of this extraneous text, so I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to go Insert, Layout Objects, Div Tag, and this one I'm going to call Header. New CSS rule. Click OK. Now in this one, my box is going to be 100%. You know, you don't really have to do that because the div tag's going to extend all the way across anyway. But I'm just going to do that just to be safe. And height, this is going to determine the height of my header, and that's going to be 150. Now for my background on this one, I struggled with a couple of colors, and then I decided I'd use a transparency. Now, there's a little trick I use in Photoshop where I create a 1 by 1 pixel inch image with a white background, and then I take the transparency down to about 25%, and I generate this PNG object. It does have to be a PNG to make this work. So I click open there. And this one has to tile because what it is, 1 by 1 pixel with, I used a 25% transparency, will then give you the sense that it is sort of a transparent window like that. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to add some padding into this. So watch, this is a little CSS problem here. So I'm going to click my edit, I'm going to add padding. Let's say 10 pixel padding all the way around. Watch what happens. It actually increases the size of your object. It's a little bug with styles. So if that is indeed a problem and you don't want it to get larger, then what you would do is then you would take the height down. So I added 10 pixels to the top and to the bottom, so that's 20 pixels. So I'm going to subtract 20, so now I have a height of 130, and I'm back to where I started. I'm going to go ahead and turn this into an H1 and say this is my website title. Now, after this, you see my div in here. That's my header. The next thing I'm going to do, I usually go up in the code and do this so I can get my cursor exactly in the right place. I'm going to put my cursor in the place where I'm going to insert the next thing, which is Layout Objects, Div Tag. This is content. This div is going to hold the header, or I'm sorry, the navigation and the main area, the main content area. Now the only thing I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to give it a 100% width, and I'm also going to give it, and this is a bizarre thing, overflow equals auto. What this does is it will give a full presence of what is going to be inside of it. This is going to sort of take care of a problem that's going to happen down the road. So if you're following along with this, this is just a practice you have to do. You take my word for it. If you don't do this, you'll see what the problem is, and I might show you at the end of the tutorial. Click OK, and there's my content. Now I'm going to go very quickly. Here I'm going to put my cursor inside the content area. I'm going to insert Layout Objects, Div Tag. I'm going to do navigation. I'll just call it nav for short. And this is going to be, click OK. I'm going to give this a height value. Let's see, a height value. Let's see, we have 150 out of 600, so That's 450. Let's give it 400 height value. My width value is going to be 150. And I'm going to go ahead and give this I'm going to keep it the same color. I'm not going to put a color in there, but I am going to put a border in it. So let's give it a solid border. Width equals 2 pixels, and I'll just color pick the yellow from outside. And now here's the problem. I need to have this object right directly to the left of where my main content is going to be. So I need to put a float left in there. That means it will align to the left inside the outer div. So click OK, and there's my nav. Oh, let me put some padding in there also. Always put padding where you're going to have content, otherwise you're going to have that nasty text up next against the side there. So I'm going to put 10 pixel padding, which means take out 20 pixels of your width. So that's 130. And there you go. See, notice that didn't jump or change at all. So my links are going to be inside. Let's do link 1, link 2, link 3. Okay. Now, the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to put another, again, I'm going to go into the code here just to make sure my cursor is in the right place. Insert, layout objects, div tag. I'm going to call this main because this is where my main content goes. And I'm going to click OK. Here, my box width is going to be, let's see, 150 minus 850. I think I had an 850 here, so that is now 700. But remember, I'm going to have some padding in here, so I'm going to end up with a number of 680. And my height is going to be the same as my height of my navigation, which was, what was that, 400? If I'm wrong, we'll see that in just a minute. This also floats left. This way I can get my content right up next to the navigation. And let's see, what can I do for my background? I'm just going to put a background color in of a, let's make it different color here. No, I'm not going to put a color in there. But I am going to put another border in. We'll do the solid. Now this time I've already got one side, so I'm going to uncheck this same for all. And on the left side I'm going to take it out. Same thing for width, 2 pixels, and uncheck, take out the bottom, the left, and then color, same thing, color pick that, uncheck same for all, take out the bottom. Click OK, and there's, ooh, I ended up with a background color, which I didn't mean to. And I have to reference my my height here. That's 400, so the reason why, actually I have to take out this one because I have to subtract 20, so 380, because again it's that padding issue, so that we have these both lined up like that. I think I can handle that. I'm a little off on my size here, so let me fix that. 400, let's try 450. Oh, actually, let's not. I forgot my padding. So I'm going to go in, box, padding equals 10, and that should, oops. Now watch how it just automatically jumped down to the side here. The reason why it did that is because the width value between the nav and the main was more than the actual width of my layout here. So to fix this, I want to keep my padding. I'm going to fix it with my width value of the main area, and I'm just going to take out 10 pixels, so that would be 670. And then as you can see, that now pops that into place. My